What's going on? Let's talk about Bellroy's Venture Travel Pack at $329 US. This is their most expensive backpack currently. I've been able to take it on a couple trips. Let's talk about what I really like about the bag, a few nitpicks, and ultimately why I do feel, despite the sticker price, that it is justifiable and worth the money in my opinion. There's a lot I've grown to really appreciate about this bag, but the things that stood out to me are: number one, the fact that it has a vertically oriented luggage pass-through. Second of all, this brain pocket that I'll get into in a moment. And then just lastly, it has a very slim, slender profile, and it's also very lightweight considering the materials that they're using. So let's get into it. In terms of the luggage pass-through, it bewilders me how rare, how mythical it is to find a backpack that has a vertically oriented luggage pass-through. Nowadays, most bags come with a horizontally oriented luggage pass-through, which they sit like this on your luggage. And I forgot how amazing it is having it set up this way, especially with a bag that has a top-loading quick access pocket. I just find that it's a lot more of a cumbersome experience getting in and out of your bag when it's sitting like this on your luggage. If you want to take out the water bottle, or you're going through security and you want to slide out the tablet and the laptop, it's just so nice being at the airport, rolling it around, and just being able to quickly and easily access things while the bag is standing up like this. I wish all bags were like this. I suspect the reason why most bag companies opt for a horizontally oriented luggage pass-through is because having something that's longer is going to make it more universally fit with any width of a luggage handle. With this one, I will say with my luggage handle, which is on the wider side, I don't think there was a lot of extra room beyond that. So I can see why they did that. The two other mini drawbacks with having it set up this way is, one, the handle is pretty high up on my bag, so I just have to kind of wedge my hand in between the bag and the handle. It's not a huge deal. And the other one just being that the center of gravity ends up going higher when you have it standing up. So I guess you probably get a little bit better leverage and control of your suitcase when the weight is lower to the ground. But I really only use the luggage pass-through when I'm at the airport. Typically the floor is like very flat, very even. I'm not going through cobblestone, and when I am in those scenarios, I'll just throw the bag in my back. The second thing that I really like about this bag is what they call the brain pocket, which is their top-loading quick access pocket that's up here. There is something so simple yet intuitive and organic about this quick access pocket. Very simple. You just have a divider in the middle. On one side you have two pen sleeves, on the other side you have a little stretch mesh pocket. What I like about it is that it's kind of like these separate dump pockets, right? I think for people that are maybe like the idea of keeping things organized, but they're very much like, I'm just gonna throw my shit in there, this works out really well. Being able to just like roll stuff down there. It's deep enough that it keeps things clutter-free and out of sight, but it's also not too deep where you can actually just like put your hand in there and not have to like dig around too much to grab whatever it is that you're looking for. So I love that pocket, especially like when you're sitting in a plane, you have it sitting under you and you want to snag stuff from it. I like to slide the bag out a little bit and prop it up like this. The one downside of this brain pocket is just that if you're like sitting in a car, like in an Uber, and you want to take something out and you have it set up like this, because it has kind of like a little ramp, little incline, whatever you have in here, it could kind of like roll or slide out. So it's very much designed for you to grab things top down, not as much here, just because things aren't as secure. Now, the last thing I really love about this bag is the fact that they've been able to create a very slim, slender profile. I mean, what I love is that even though it's 26 liters, it is slim enough that even when I have this thing like pretty packed out, it doesn't look bulky at all. So you can double this as an EDC bag because of it. So yeah, if you compare the Venture Travel with a Bulk Carry Max EDC, which is also a 26-liter bag. A bag that I also don't consider to be like overly bulky considering the fact that it's 26 liters, but if you compare them right now, they're both empty, and this bag is significantly slimmer than this one. So it just looks really good on your back. It's not overkill. The other thing that's like worth calling out is that this is a bag that only weighs like 2.4 pounds, 1,100 grams, which is insane considering the fact that they're using very heavy duty materials like a PU coated recycled nylon, the beta nylon on the sides. Part of that is accomplished by the fact that they opted for a single main compartment. They don't have a dedicated laptop compartment, so they definitely shaved weight there. But for a 26-liter bag with these materials, I consider 2.4 pounds to be very much on the impressive light side of things. And it just got like a really cool look to it. I feel like Bruce Wayne, if he had a backpack that he used for like EDC and travel, it would probably look like this. I mean, this thing is absolutely badass. Now, before I get into the bag itself, the main nitpicks that I have with the bag are: one, the price difference between this and the Venture Ready. Secondly, the shoulder strap comfort leaves a little bit to be desired. And then just lastly, the bag doesn't stand on its own. Now, the Venture Ready, which is the slightly less premium but also very similar model that comes before the Venture Travel, is $259 US. This one's $329, so there's a $70 difference between the two. And it's not to say that I don't think that this is a bag that's worth $329. It's just I don't feel like there is enough differentiation between the two bags to make that jump in price one that people will make very easily and comfortably. There are some noteworthy differences between the two. The main ones being that the shell fabric in this one is a PU coated nylon with the side being beta nylon, whereas on the Venture Ready it is beta nylon with some ripstop on the sides. Second, this one comes with an internal water bottle holder, whereas the other one comes with an external water bottle holder. This one has a vertically oriented luggage pass-through, which the other one has horizontal. This one comes with a little packable tote bag that the other one does not. This one has like travel compression straps in the main compartment. And lastly, this one comes with like an RFID pocket. There's a few other subtle differences between the two, like zipper pulls, little finishes, color choices on the inside, but there's not a ton that screams out, hey, I need to spend $70 extra to go for this one. Now, in my opinion, where the Venture Travel wins is one, the look. I feel like the contrast of their element coated nylon, that like matte Batman-like material with the beta nylon on the side, I think it looks nicer than the other one. Secondly, horizontal luggage pass-through over vertical, 100%. And then just lastly, you get a lot more weatherproofness with the fact that this is a PU coated shell compared to the beta nylon, which is also weather resistant, but this is definitely gonna give you a lot more weather protection. And then the Venture Ready, you have an external water bottle pocket, which I haven't played with it yet, but if it's anything similar to the Transit Work Pack external water bottle pocket, which it seems like it is, you get easier access, you don't get security. I'm honestly one for external water bottle pockets, but the execution of this internal water bottle holder is one of my absolute favorites, and I am totally fine with it this way, so it's not a huge deal for me. But my thought is, if you're already spending $250+ on a backpack, you're already entering that ultra premium price point, get something that you're not gonna have second thoughts over, get something that you absolutely love. So yeah, $70 is a lot of money, but if you live in a place where you want extra protection from the elements, or you travel a lot, or you one bag and you do want your stuff protected, that does provide a lot of peace of mind. I feel like this is a bit of a nitpick because I was comparing previously the Transit Work Pack and the Transit Work Pack Pro, and I will say like that is their commuter, more office, urban oriented backpack, but the standard Work Pack is like the Venture Ready, and then the Pro is like the Venture Travel, right? I feel like those are the comparables. And one huge upgrade that you get from the Pro that you don't get in the standard Work Pack are the shoulder straps are insanely comfortable on the Pro, which leads me to my second nitpick with this bag is the shoulder straps themselves. I wouldn't say they're uncomfortable straps by any means. On one of my trips, I went to California and I one bagged it and I was like pretty minimal. I had my laptop, my mirrorless camera, toiletry kit, and then just like extra clothes for one day. No extra pants, no extra shoes, nothing like that. And yeah, I think like once you're at like the 30-minute, 40-minute mark of just walking around with it, it starts digging into your shoulders. These feel exactly like the straps that they're using on the newer version of the Transit Work Pack. And they have gotten more comfortable, but I feel like for a bag that is designed to be used partially for one bagging it, but yeah, having those straps from the Pro on the Venture Travel would have created way more differentiation between the two models and would make it a lot more of a no-brainer jumping into it. There's also like organizational and aesthetic differences between those two models, whereas in the Venture Ready and the Venture Travel, organizationally, design-wise, they're almost identical minus a few very subtle things. But yeah, as far as the straps themselves, I just feel like they could be a little thicker. One area where they absolutely killed it is the back padding area. Like this might be the most comfortable back padding. Actually, I think it is. The back padding feels like those mouse pads from the 90s that just had like that gel thing for your palm to sit on. That was like super comfortable. It's so thick, like so much gel. It's really nice and responsive. So they like went half all in on comfort, but yeah, I think they could have done a little bit of a better job on the shoulder straps with this one. And then just my last little nitpick is the fact that the bag doesn't stand on its own. Now, typically that's more of a, I can't say a deal breaker because honestly, like few bags these days like really stand on their own consistently, but something that makes me feel better about the fact that this bag doesn't stand on its own is one, it weighs like 2.4 pounds, which is insane. Oftentimes you need to add a little bit more structure to a bag and more weight in order for it to stand on its own. And then just second of all, it's a very slim bag, right? So that means there's just like not a lot of surface area for it to stand. So I've gotten used to it. It's not the end of the world. Just one of those things that for a $300+ bag, you kind of want it all, right? And there's always a compromise in the design process. And I'm sure they could have made it stand, but then it would have probably been heavier. It probably wouldn't be as slim, so you can't have it all. All right, cool. Let's get into the bag itself. I'll start with the outside and work my way inside. Here, the main shell fabric that they're using is what they call their element coated nylon, which is a recycled nylon that is PU coated. So this is gonna give you really good protection from the elements, rain, snow, all of that good stuff. It gets scuffed a little bit easily, but it also cleans off very easily. Here on the sides, you have one of my favorite fabrics. This is Bellroy's Beta Nylon. They're using YKK PU coated zippers, and the zipper pulls themselves, these are their shrink wrapped pulls that I freaking love. They look so great with just the matte finish of the rest of the bag. If you get the Venture Ready, it doesn't come with these. So it has them on both the outside as well as the inside, and it gives you a really nice grip to get in and out of the bag. The zippers themselves are PU coated, so they're not gonna be as smooth as non-coated zippers, but I will say, especially like given the angular design of the zips to give the bag the profile that it has, these are really smooth zips. I'd give them like an 8.6, like they're definitely satisfying. I will just say the nature of this beaver flap design, once you have a few things in your brain pocket or anything up here and it gives it weight, the only reason why I detracted a little bit from the zippers, it's not even the zippers themselves, it's just, yeah, once this is open, you just, like, you have to prop it up and use both hands in order to get in and out of, and sometimes it gets a little bit cumbersome, but overall, it's a very satisfying zipper experience. And then they actually use a third fabric here. This is the ripstop nylon. that they're using on the Venture Ready on the sides, whereas they have the Beta nylon here in the front. And it's nice, but these two like stand out as like uber premium materials. This just looks more like a standard ripstop, and I do think that this bag you get a more premium look and feel because of the combination of the Beta with the element coated nylon. Here on the back, the only place for you to pick up the bag is this grab handle. When the bag gets a little bit more full, it gets a little tougher getting in here, but I do dig the slim profile of the bag's aesthetic, and I think it matches it. Like, yes, I do like the idea of having handles in other places, but this bag keeps things thoughtfully minimal as far as every material that they use, and to keep the weight down as well. You also have the Beta nylon here on the straps on the front. One thing I love that Bellroy does with their sternum strap is that it's just piping and it just slides up and down, which makes it a really dynamic experience. Depending on how much or how little you have inside your bag, you can really easily adjust it. Whereas most bags, you have to like unclip from a loop, clip it to a different loop. And it's one of those, like, you do it once, set and forget it. The last thing you're gonna wanna do when you're on the go is like messing with a sternum strap. So I love that they've done that. And then you've got a Fidlock magnetic buckle here, which I've found like stays in place really, really well. Sometimes, like, if you have it like this and you just like put the bag down, sometimes the magnet will find itself, just the nature of magnets. And then when you pick it up to put it back on, well, I just gotta detach it real quick before I put it on, but it hasn't happened too many times. You get this nice plastic strap keeper. I actually really like these instead of the elastic ones, just because the elastic ones over time just stretch out. And these are just really easy to use. Just nice little touch. This is not black. This is like a deep teal color, which gives it a nice little accent, where the rest of the bag on the outside is black. And then they use metal hardware here for the strap adjustment. One thing that's super awesome about this bag that I don't know if I've seen this before, but the fact that they have loops here, I don't know if this was their intention. I would imagine it is, but in terms of adjusting it, you just like put your thumb through the loop and then you just pull down, and it's just a really easy experience, just tightening and loosening these straps. And they're using that airplane style material, which is my favorite. It glides really, really well. On the Venture Ready, you don't get this. You get more of like that textured woven material. Perhaps you get it in some of the colorways, but at least on the copper, like the bronze one, from what I saw. In the black one as well, I wanna say it didn't have this airplane style material. And I already showed you this, but I just want to re-emphasize like how freaking comfortable the back padding. It's so thick and it is so plush. Like, they did such a good job with that there. Here they have their concealed pocket that has a key clip, but just like little touches where Bellroy just does such a good job, like this clay color on the inside with a really nice like nylon liner. And then you have a comfortable amount of space in here. You can fit 4 passports, for example, like throw your phone, nice watch, whatever you want to have semi-easily accessible to you when you need it, but also like away from anyone that might want to get inside your bag. And then here on the other side, you have their concealed water bottle compartment. You like carry a water bottle, you throw an umbrella, or there's like quite a bit of space in here. I will say oftentimes like the execution on these water bottle holders is not great. It's kind of cumbersome getting in and out of. But with this one, it works really, really well. This was probably my biggest nitpick with a Transit Work Pack Pro. The way they incorporated the concealed water bottle pocket was pretty tricky to get in and out of. But with this one, this is what I typically travel with. This is a 24-ounce Owala. And like it goes in really comfortably and you can close it no problem. I've grown to really appreciate it, especially when I'm going through the airport, right? Like through security, or once I'm in the plane, like, and I have the bag under me, those are two scenarios where the water bottle, it's not uncommon for it to just slide out. So just having that extra security is really nice. Now, this is a 24 ounce with a 32 ounce hydro flask, which is actually a little bit shorter than the Owala, but obviously thicker. It also goes in really, really easily. If anything, it goes in even better. And then if you want to carry something even bigger, I probably wouldn't. This is like a 40 ounce hydro flask. And if you don't mind it not being zipped up all the way, then you can fit a 40 ounce in there. But it might be just the lid, but even with a standard lid, I feel like you probably wouldn't be able to zip it all the way. And then the last thing on the outside of this bag, and this is something that is unique to the Venture Travel, is that you have a little zippered pocket here, and they've included a little packable tote bag, which in full transparency, I haven't had the chance to use it. With that being said, like knowing my wife and like with the kids, there's always like extra stuff. I feel like it will come in handy. I just feel like maybe this is an area where like to close the gap in the price point between the two, they could have made it an optional add-on, right? Like a $30 add-on, and then made the bag $300 instead of $330. But just thinking out loud here, but they use like a ripstop material. It actually feels like really nice. They use the same zipper pull that they use in the bag. And then beyond that, they've included little like anchor attachment points. There's 4 of them, and there's 4 loops here on the bag. So the thinking is like if you're on the move and maybe like you need extra space for groceries or things like that, instead of like carrying this by hand, you can actually just attach this to the 4 points, and then you can carry it on your bag. Does it look super sexy when it's on? Not particularly, but yeah, it's a nice piece of functionality that I'm excited to like get to that moment where I'm like, if only I had, oh wait, I do have that, and then just being able to like put it to use. If you don't care about the tote bag, like there is like a pretty comfortable amount of space here in this zippered pocket. The only thing is probably not the best place to put anything that is valuable, just because like the nature of the pocket is just like it'll probably like slide out. But like if you want to throw a beanie or gloves, things like that, I think it's a great place to fit those things as well. So that's everything on the outside. Going into the inside of the bag, you have a beaver flap clamshell opening, and really like there is not a single place where I feel like they could have used like a nicer material. Like Bellroy's materials are sensual in my experience. Like they're some of the most satisfying, finger dopamine inducing materials. They're just like, this is our most expensive bag, let's absolutely show off all of our amazing materials. So here you've got 2 stretch mesh pockets. On the Venture Travel, you have an RFID sleeve like pockets if you want to throw like your passports or things like that. I'm not like paranoid about that, but what I have found this sleeve to be super useful for is my sunglasses, right? Like this is my dedicated sunglass pocket because I put it right behind it, and I feel like my sunglasses are protected from whatever is on the inside of the bag, and I'm not like throwing my bag on the front of it either. Then you have like their stretch mesh is maybe like my favorite. I feel like their stretch mesh, like Peak Design and Able Carry, those 3 are some of my favorite brands, and so much of it is because of the stretch mesh that they use. Here you have a more ample size pocket. This is Bellroy's compact tech kit, and it fits like perfectly in there. So if you are a tech kit person, the dimensions of this one work really well. I feel like you get sufficient organization elsewhere in the bag that you don't really need a tech kit, but for people that carry a ton of cables. Honestly, mini tangent, but I feel like this has been such a positive quality of life move for me. So I got a 240 watt USB-C to USB-C charger. It's like a 6-foot one that Anchor makes, And then this is their like GAN 2 Prime charger. I'm not like sponsored by Anchor. You can get like any brand, but this thing will charge my laptop, my tablet, my phone. The only other cable that I need is like a standard USB-C to USB cable for like my AirPods or like my AirPod Maxes. But like these three things from a tech charging standpoint, this is all that I need. So I've stopped like using tech kits as often. I use them for like audio stuff, for like these videos and things like that. But instead of like carrying a power brick for your laptop, having different chargers for like your phone, you can consolidate everything and do it really thoughtfully like this. I digress. Here, even though it's a slender bag, it has a surprising amount of space. So here's the Peak Design medium packing cube. I threw in like an exaggeration of clothing. I put in maybe like 8 t-shirts in here, but just to give you an idea, right? It fits like really, really well. You have these compression straps, which you don't get in the Venture Ready. And like you still have like space here for stuff and a little bit of space here. I would never like take that much stuff, but for anyone that like packs pretty heavily, yeah, you have like a good bit of space for that, like, and it fits comfortably. And then you've got a laptop sleeve that fits up to a 16-inch laptop, as well as a tablet sleeve here. They've done such a good job with the false bottom. Like for the tablet, the false bottom is like here. And for the laptop itself, the little divider that segments the laptop sleeve from the tablet / folder sleeve is a really nice material. It's hard to describe. It almost feels like it's like a plastic shell, but it's wrapped in this really nice liner. Like I know I said plastic, but there's nothing cheap feeling about it. And there's plenty of padding here on the back. So much of it is just like the padding that you're getting from the back. But the laptop false bottom is almost like an exaggeration, which is a really good thing, right? Like you have nothing to worry about with your laptop. It's probably like the bottom of it is around there. And then one other thing is you've got a stretch mesh little side sleeve that's zippered. You get a pouch on the Venture Ready that is not like a zippered compartment, but this is like a nice place for you to put like socks, or yeah, it's kind of like my sock spot. Or also if you have like a little rain shell that you want to pack in there, it's nice, and it's keeps it segmented to the side of the bag. So this is a $329 backpack. I look at bags in different like tiers. I feel like the $200 to maybe like $275 price point is the premium price point, and then $275 up is ultra premium. The premium, like the $200 to $275 category, has become so competitive. Like there's so many amazing bags at that price point. So for a lot of people, I can understand if you want like the most bang for your buck, I don't think this is necessarily that bag for you. But I feel like once you're spending $250 plus on a bag, especially if this is like the bag that's going to replace your current bag for pretty much everything EDC and travel, I'm the kind of person that I'm not gonna settle over like $40, $50. I'd rather have the exact bag that I want. And yeah, it's not cheap, but if you look at, for example, Evergoods CTB 26, that's a $300 bag. If you look at the GoRuck GR1 26 liter, yes, understandably, it's made in the US, so it's a little bit more expensive, but that's a bag that's $345. And then you got like the Boundary Supply Renin Pro, which is like $445. There's a lot of bags in the $300-$400 range. And I think what it comes down to is Bellroy's design language is very specific. I feel like from a look standpoint, they do it better than most. I can understand someone that wants like a really premium bag, but maybe Evergoods is a little too like utilitarian looking, or GoRuck is like too tactical looking. This is a very like sweet looking bag. They do not cut a single corner from a material standpoint, and everything was just very thoughtfully designed. So if you really like the look of the bag, you live in a place where maybe you get a lot of rain or snow and you do value the additional weatherproofness that you get in this bag over the Venture Ready, and you're like me that you want a bag that stands vertically when it's sitting on your pass-through, then yeah, I think at $330, it's worth it. Of course, if you can just like be patient, it's not uncommon for them to do like a 20 or even like a 30% off, like on Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I think with a 20% discount, then you get a lot of bag for your buck. I've been super pleasantly surprised by this bag. And if you're not going to be one bagging it, so you're not like too concerned about the comfort of the shoulder straps, which again, they're not uncomfortable by any means. If you are the kind of person that carries a lot of stuff with you, you plan on using this bag primarily to one bag it, and you're going to be going everywhere with it, that is my main just like word of caution, just in the shoulder straps themselves. But comfort is a very subjective thing, and maybe for a lot of people this bag will be comfortable because the actual back padding is insane, and the shoulder straps like feel like decently padded. They're just, you know, a little bit on the thin and a little bit on the narrow side. So maybe a little additional beefiness would take this bag to the absolute next level. Other than that, best of luck and cheers.